Let's cut right to it. Making games on top of a full-time job is not for the weak. Maybe not even for the strong. It's for the people that are insane. Going down this path may mean cutting out water completely and just living off of caffeine at least 1,000 milligrams per hour. This is not an easy path, but what path is? Welcome back to the Spacewood channel. Hope everybody's doing okay. And if you're new here, subscribe to the journey. One of the first things I want to mention, and a kind of sad reality, is that going down this path, there's a very big possibility that you're going to lose friends. I had a friend of 15 years, and the more serious I got about my game dev goals, the more we drifted apart. Personal sacrifices is going to be part of the journey when you're doing game dev on top of a full-time job. But these sacrifices help you understand what's truly important in your life. Anytime you get more serious about an endeavor in your life, you're bound to lose people close to you because you're making shifts to better yourself. So this is great if you don't have any friends.
Everything I could ever want is right here.
And there's nothing to really worry about, and you probably picked the right path. You will have one best friend, and that's time management. When you work full-time, your day is already limited, so learning how to discipline yourself and manage your time is super important. There are plenty of apps out there to help you manage your time and tasks. Think of things like Trello, Notion, ClickUp, any app out there that you can combine all of your tasks into one place that you can always reference is perfect. You have to make sure you're adding eating to this board because we do not want any of us game devs starving to death. Personally, I use Trello just because it's super simple and the workflow is pretty straightforward. I have 3 columns, one for to do, in progress, and complete. These apps will help you keep track of what needs to be done. That way when you set down for your 1 or 2 hours that day, you'll know exactly what you're doing, and that'll help manage your time. Always make sure that you're setting aside 1 to 2 hours per day, and do not miss a day. Keep that momentum going. Some days you're not going to feel like doing it, but in those days, just set aside 30 minutes. At least that you opened up your project and you just kind of messed around with it and it's still fresh in your head. With the limited time that you do have, it's a good idea to just keep your projects fairly small. If you're only able to work on your game 1 or 2 hours per day, then taking on this massive project that's going to take you 20 plus years to make is just not a good idea. And in 20 years, we could be living in Armageddon. But if you're making a cozy game, maybe that's what the world needs 20 years from now. That could bring us all together. So keep that in mind. Now, once you complete 1 or 2 games, this is going to give you a better understanding of how long tasks will take to complete. So once you get past your first game, your second game, you'll start understanding like, oh, this is how much I can take on for this project. I'll actually give you an example of a game I did that I had that I felt like was reasonable within my skill set and also not super overscoped. Just to give you an idea of how I think about these things. If you made it this far in the video, it would mean the world if you subscribe to the channel and like the video. This is kind of my hub for announcement trailers, game dev topics, and eventually devlogs. So yes, it would mean the world. Thank you. This game was just going to be a single warrior, single player game inside of a washing machine, and you're fighting your way out as it's spinning. And the things that you're fighting are just random objects that you would find in your pockets and stuff like that. Okay, I only have to model a room, model a washing machine, model a player, and some like random items like a pencil or stuff that you fight off. I'd have the washer constantly spinning, and each time the player goes through this, the cycles get stronger. So it's not like I'm switching levels, it's all in the same level, same washer, enemies, maybe add an enemy every, each level or something. But just stuff like that, where it's a very small, compact little game, but it's something that you can still be creative with. It's still something that, I'm not a huge fan of these make a small game, make the genres that are popular. I feel like you still got to put yourself into your game. So you have to be very mindful of how much time you actually have during the day. So starting that dream MMORPG is just a terrible idea. It's just terrible. You might as well just try to build Noah's Ark with a hammer and 2 pieces of plywood. I guess it's possible, depending on how big the plywood is. Now, this is something that I really want to make sure that I mention because I feel like people don't take care of their mental health as well as they should. Please take care of your mental health. Always be aware of your mental state and don't push yourself too hard. I know sometimes you'll see game devs talk about working 70 hours a week on their game, but when you have a day job, it's just different. Getting to work on your games full time is a luxury, and it's just something that people with day jobs don't have yet. We're gonna get there, guys. Know where you're at in your journey and don't compare yourself to others. And if you're a parent like me, it's just not worth sacrificing your time with your kids just to push your project a little bit further. Like, I would rather spend time with my kids and just know, like, okay, I have 1 or 2 hours today to do as much as I can, but I'm not gonna go past that point. Your project's gonna be there tomorrow, unless your computer gets a virus and explodes, which I've been working on a few of those viruses right now. I'm sending them to everybody. But this also kind of ties into the last point, which is try to have a reasonably scoped game. That way you can fulfill your day-to-day responsibilities at home and also your game dev responsibilities. Try to learn that balance, and if you need to decompress, find an extra hobby that takes like 15 minutes each day. So now I'll just take you through a regular day for me, and I'll show you how I divide my time. Let me begin by saying that everyone's schedule is going to be different, so don't think like it has to be exact to mine. It's just, this is how I would lay mine out. I'll wake up at 4 a.m., unfortunately, and I get to work at 5. I do have a job that allows me to listen to podcasts, which is really nice, so I always throw on something game dev related, or I'll throw on some true crime, and when people are trying to talk to me, I just kind of nod and act like I heard them. I clock out around 2 p.m. and I get home around 3. I give my wife a break from the kids, and this is when I spend majority of the time with the kids, playing games or doing school or stuff like that. Now, once my wife is done with her break and catching up on her things, this is when I'll come to the office. I'll open up TikTok for a few hours. I'm kidding. Actually, go ahead and delete all the apps on your phone. Destroy your phone. I'll send you the hammer. So I start out by opening up Trello. I check the board to see where I left off. I work on my game for about 2 hours, maybe a little over, maybe a little less. And at this point, it's around 7 p.m. and we start our bedtime routine, brush teeth, baths, and read a book. And after the kids go down, this is when me and my wife spend time together, and we'll watch Squid Games or Judge Judy.
How are you, man? How you doing?
Don't ask me how I'm doing. Where's my money?
The money, I do not owe her anything.
Oh, please.
My daily routine gets pretty repetitive, but you have to make sure that you're working on your game each day, or it's just not going to see the progress that you want. Keep chipping away at your dreams and push every day. Take care, guys, and good luck on your journey.